Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fahmi. So we go to the introduction. Choose a mental health. So mental health is a very, very important issue because especially in among university students, because students nowadays face a lot of pressure because they have to finish their assignment, heavy assignment, exams, financial problems, and also social stress. So all of these can affect their mental well-being. And common problems include depressions, anxiety, and panic attacks, which is can also affect their academic performance. Okay, so we study and then we use a data set from Kaggle actually, which is have been collected through the Google Form survey from university student in Malaysia. So in this dataset, uh, contains such as information such as age, gender, CGPA, year of study, and whether the students who is experiencing any mental health condition. So we go to the problem statement. Okay, the problem that we notice is that mental health issues among Malaysian university students are often not reported and not well understood. Because many students is actually suffer in silence without seeking any professional help. So the question is, how common is this problem and who is most affected? So in this study, we have four objectives. The first one is to describe and summarize the characteristic of the students using descriptive statistic. Second one, to identify the distribution pattern of age and CGPA. The third, to find the most suitable measure of central tendency. And fourth, to examine the proportion of students that who are experiencing depression, anxiety, and also panic attacks.
Thank you to my friend. Okay, my name is Muhammad Najimuddin bin Halim. So now I would like to continue for our presentation. Okay, moving on to our data description. This slide provide an overview of the data set we use for our analysis. The data comes from a student mental health survey. In total, we collected responses from 101 respondents, which serves as our sample size and equal to 101. So we tracked a total of 10 variables, which we have broken down into two statistical categories based on the data types. First one is we have our numerical variable. These are quantitative measurement which include age and CGPA. Second one is we have our categorical variable. These represent qualitative attribute or group. There are 8 of them in total. Uh, Gender, course, year of study, marital status, and several mental health indicators like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and whether the student choose to seek treatment. Next, let's look at our research methodology and numerical variable. For this study, our dataset was sourced from Kaggle. We utilize Microsoft Excel as our primary tool to clean the data and calculate basic descriptive statistics, including the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, and range. To visualize our two numerical variables, age and CGPA, we constructed histogram to understand their distribution. Number one, for the age distribution, on the left graph, Okay, if you look at the histogram for age on the left, the data shows a right skewed skew or positively skewed distribution. Okay, the majority of our respondents are concentrated around the younger age bracket, specifically between 18 and 21 years old, with a longer tail extending towards the older ages. This tells us statistically that our sample consists heavily of young, traditional, undergraduate university students. Number two, CGPA distribution on the right graph. Okay. On the other hand, the histogram for CGPA on the right shows the exact opposite trend, a left skewed or negatively skewed distribution. Okay. Here, most students are concentrated heavily in the higher CGPA range, specifically between 3 to 4, 3.0 to 4.0, with a very long, thin tail extending toward lower CGPA values.
Hi, my name is Mastura Binti Karuddin and I will be present slide 6. Now, let's look at the most interesting finding from our study. Out of the 101 students we surveyed, 35 students reported experienced depression, 34 students reported anxiety, and 33 students reported panic attack. What this tells us is that roughly 1 in 3 students in our samples is dealing with at least one mental health condition. That's a significant number that really cannot be ignored. But here's the part of that stood out to us is the most. Despite this high number, only 6 out of 101 students actually look for the professional treatment. So there's a big gap between how many students are struggling and how many are actually getting help. This could be due to the stigma, lack of awareness about available support, or maybe limited access to mental health service on campus. To make it simple, about 1 in 3 students are affected by mental health condition, but only 1 in 17 look for the treatment. We think this treatment gap is the most alarming finding of our entire study. For the last slide is our conclusion for our study. First, mental health issues are clearly prevalent among the students we surveyed. 1 in 3 reported depression, anxiety, or panic attack. Second, most of our respondents were young female students aged 18 to 21, and interestingly, most of them had CGPA in the 3.0 to 4.0 range. So these are students who are academically capable but still struggling mentally. Third, only 6 out of 101 students look for the treatment, again highlighting that critical gap between how common these issues are and how few students are seeking for help. And finally, for our numerical variable, since CGPA is left skewed, the median is the better measure of central tendency to use. But since age is approximately normal distribute, the mean works best there. For future work, we suggest 3 things. 1. Expand the sample to cover multiply Malaysian university, so the findings are more representative. 2. Investigate the relationship between CGPA and mental health more deeply. 3. Include male students and more equally in future survey, since our current sample seems to have a gender imbalance. Thank you.